Well, welcome to the All About the Mouse podcast. We're in round 2 now. This is great.
I know a lot about this.
Well, welcome. This is a new guest. His name is Tyler Helton. He is an intellectual genius.
Who knows nothing about Disney? Yeah, I'm a real genius.
He is a genius. We have Michael White, as always, the smartest one here, next to him. And we have Drew White, the smartest one here, next to me. And then you got me. You know, I'm just here.
And the smartest one.
So, I have interesting
The smartest
subjects.
one on Disney.
Oh, stop. You're gonna make me fall. But we're going to go ahead and jump into the big subject, and that is all things Star Wars. So we're going to start this off with Episode 8, and I have an interesting theory for you guys.
Oh dear.
So as we know, J.J. Abrams is coming back for Episode 9.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Because they didn't like Colin.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so that's
Kennedy
part of it.
didn't
That
like
could be.
him.
So does anybody remember who the original director was for the solo film? Because I cannot
I don't-
remember.
was it the-
He was gone like that, so like...
Phil and Lloyd, was that their names? I know they did Jump Street and
Jump Street.
Cloudy with a Chance of
Yeah.
Meatballs.
Yeah.
Balls. Lego movie. They
Lego movie.
Yeah. So he was on the project, and they got rid of him, and then they got Ron Howard, I believe, on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
Because it was creative.
Surprising.
right there. That's the subject.
See, okay, the reason they got J.J. Abrams, in my opinion, is because
Say it, Drew. Say it. It's okay.
it's because they know it works. He knows.
Yep.
They knows he can make money, and he's probably. I don't know. I feel like they just trust JJ's one person that I feel like they trust to actually change it and make it work. Like everyone else can come up with an idea
I
and they'll be
think-
like, "No, that's
yeah.
too risky. Let's play it safe." That's what franchises are doing now. That's a big problem because Star Wars is all about taking these new leaps. You know, everything George Lucas did, even though he didn't do so well. You know,
He didn't do so great in the prequel, but he did a great job with the
but I
first
mean,
movie,
everything he did, you know,
Yeah.
he did something different, new, you know.
Yeah.
And now that it's a franchise, they want to make money. They don't want to make a flop. So that's
I think 7 overperformed to such an extent that they're scared now.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
when
it-
7 was coming out, they were
'cause they
willing to
played
be a
it
little
really
risky.
they played it safe.
I mean, they
though.
played it with safe with
I was about to
JJ,
say,
and
I
they,
feel like it was safe.
but I because they were coming back, but you know, all the side projects, they were like, this is where we're going to take our chances and stuff. But 7 did so well, and they realized how much money they can make, that I think they started being like, maybe we shouldn't mess with it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe these side things. We
But
need
the
to reel
weird,
them back
like,
a bit.
isn't J.J. Abrams kind of I feel like he's willing to take a risk, and I feel like he's willing. They're willing to trust him, though. You don't think he's willing to?
I think they trust him.
You don't think he's willing to
I think
take
they
a
trust him
risk?
because he didn't really take that many risks.
Right.
I mean,
That's exactly.
Yeah.
I'm literally
He
saying
did that.
He did
Disney is being. You made a $4 billion investment on this franchise.
Yeah.
You've got to treat this thing like a baby. So you bring in a director who is already very well known. He's already fiddled with many franchises, well, one big franchise. And he did decent to some fans' extent. Bring him in here.
To a non-fan, he did great.
You bring him in, you give him the reins, and you say, so this is what we want to do. Because let's be honest here. I really don't believe he had much creative control. I'm sure he did,
Yeah.
but like not near.
I don't think. Yeah.
I'm sure they said this is the direction we want to go. We want to play it safe.
I think that's why Ryan isn't going 9, because I think at first I think they were like, oh, we'll let him do that, but I think this Last Jedi is going to be a bit more different,
Yeah.
and I think it was probably would have been more different, but instead of like Phil and Lloyd or Colin, where they're like, just no, it's like they like his different. They're like, we don't want your different here.
Yeah.
Well,
Here's your own trilogy.
yeah, that's where I'm going.
Go
with this.
crazy there.
So
I don't think they wanted to mess with like this main thing. So that
It's already really well established, and it already feels like Star Wars. I mean, and maybe because admittedly, the
But-
story arc of 7 was really close to the story arc.
Like
of
it's
4.
kind of a weird thing for me, because
Can't
like
keep going that route.
Yeah,
you gotta change
it's
it
like-
up.
Gotta change it up.
That's what
it's-
Ryan Johnson
that's-
is gonna do.
Yeah.
like they want to play it safe, you know, to get money. But I mean, the whole reason it got so successful was not playing it, you know.
So I believe Ryan Johnson's Episode 8 will be the most risky and creative of this Disney trilogy.
I can see that because just from the trailers, you can tell it's out there.
also
And-
Ryan Johnson.
yeah.
Like this, they know. They're like, well, first off, I thought they really hated him because I remember when they said they got rid of Colin, that Ryan was already in talks to take over Episode 9. I was like, man, they must really like Ryan if they're willing to give him 2 films. And then they said, nope, JJ. I was like, that sucks. I
Well,
like
and
Ryan.
like right before that, Ryan's like, "Oh yeah, I would do another Star Wars movie in a heartbeat." And you're like, "Oh, he's open to it. That's what's happening."
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, I really like Ryan. Like, I mean, no offense to Jay, I like Ryan more than JJ, so why isn't he coming back? And then they announced, oh no, he's getting his own trilogy. I went, wow, they really like him. They would not let him do that.
That makes me more excited for this episode.
Exactly.
Because
Oh, yeah.
before it's out, they're like, "You get your own trilogy."
That, I mean, the work he's done probably in episode 8 has to speak volumes.
So do you think
They
episode
must feel
8
pretty good about it.
is going to be like more risky or something?
Yes, I think, like I said, this will
So
be the
do you
most
think
creative.
if it's successful, like where it's going to be more creative and it is, does become really successful, which I think it will be, do you think they'll be more willing to let other people take more risk, or you think they'll still
that's
play it safe?
That's not
Yeah.
gonna happen. It
That's
can't
what I'm
happen.
saying. Like, they got rid of these other 2 directors who were probably very creative in their own right.
Yeah.
They are picking people specifically.
Even Rogue One, they fired the composer
Yeah.
and had Giancio come and do amazing for like 2 months.
Months,
or-
yeah, like it was a quick score he had to
They
get
were,
going.
like, I mean, almost at release, and they were like, "Never mind, someone else do the score."
Alexander Despot. I like his scores a lot, but
I would like to
nothing-
hear what that's like. I would
Me
like to see.
too,
I almost bet it was too electronic-y or modern sci-fi,
probably.
and they probably were like, "Oh no, no, it needs to be more
They
classic."
want to, yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
Rogue One does sound like
It sounds like
like
original.
Star
Yeah, it
Wars.
sounds like original.
And
Star
I
Wars.
love Giorgio. Like I love him. Like I love Michael to death. Like he's
my
always,
favorite living.
He's done
Well, that's not true. Williams. He's my favorite composer that's young.
John Williams is the original Star Wars, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, he's still
Yeah.
he's doing 8.
He's done
Oh
seven.
wow,
Yeah,
really?
He's still doing
He's
it.
still
I
going.
thought he was dead by now.
No,
Holy
still
cow!
Going 8.
Oh wow,
Still doing it. Still rocking it.
awesome. Hopefully that
Um,
guy lives a long time.
Yeah, like I feel like Disney is specifically going, this guy is good, and this guy is good, and this guy is good because they know the importance of this franchise, and they're not gonna just let anybody come in and say, "Oh,
Which, I mean, I
I'm
think
gonna change everything up."
Yeah.
I mean, because I guess I didn't think I guess 1, 2, and 3. I didn't think they were that bad.
Yeah.
But a lot
the
of
prequels
people-
were not like terrible movies.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that this was Star Wars. It has a specific feel, a specific thing you do, and he did not do any of those things. 4, 5, and 6 all felt right. But
Mhm.
1, 2, and 3, I guess I'm a part of it. I think is the fact that everything is CG, and that's not part of it. That's not the whole reason. Obviously, a lot of it is the characters and the dialogue, and that's some bad acting in some cases as well.
And some very bad writing.
And some very bad writing in some cases. But there was those cases. But I mean, in their own rights, they weren't bad sci-fi movies.
No.
They just weren't Star Wars movies. But
No.
7 feels like a Star Wars movie. I mean, from the start to finish, it feels like an actual Star Wars movie. And same with Rogue
Just
One.
until they went out of their way to.
Oh, yeah, they went out of their way to make that occur. But it feels more Star Wars, I think, than like Episode 2 or something.
Now, since they've announced Rian Johnson's trilogy and they've announced a live-action television series, which I think, honestly, I may be a little bit more excited for that than the new trilogy.
I'm curious.
I'm curious,
Yeah.
but I think this is a
I'm
perfect
worried
idea.
for some reason. I don't know why.
I think we've had plenty of animated series,
That's true. We have
and I
too many
love
others.
each and every one of the animated series, and they've really never let me down with them.
I can't think of a Disney spun live action thing besides Disney Channel, so it's like I'm not. This is almost feels like uncharted territory to me.
Yeah, and it really is.
I guess
I
that's
mean,
what
like, I
worries
guess
me, 'cause it's
some
like I have
people-
nothing to base it on.
Some people would be like Once Upon a Time, but like
Oh, ABC stuff.
yeah. So that's just
General or just once? Are they more heavily involved with once than other shows?
I mean, in general, like once I'm sure they have a pretty strong like oversee of like what's going on because
I
I
did
mean
like the
dealing with
first
characters
two
and
seasons.
stuff. But like I mean, you
Stopped
can look at
watching.
Gabriel
I
Iglesias, like
still
he's
like
trying to get a special on ABC right now, and Disney's already been like, okay, that's fine, but you can't have certain people on your show, like his manager friend Martine, and he can't say certain stuff. Like you have to be clean. Like Gabriel was talking about that in an interview recently. I was just like, I mean, that's
On ABC?
Disney. Yeah, on ABC.
That's weird.
I know.
ABC's like
Yeah.
feels like it's like we can do what we want.
Yeah, go anywhere else. Like even I was like, that's kind of weird, Gabriel. Like, why are you going to ABC for that? But anyways, no, like I feel like it's a good opportunity for them, and I feel like again because it's Star Wars, they're not gonna like. I would hope they wouldn't drop the ball with it.
Yeah.
Even Marvel's
Sure they don't
Shield,
Yeah.
Shield. what is the full name of the show? I'm sorry.
Agents
of Shield. Even Agents of Shield. It's not really that bad of a show. Like there is a very strong following for that show even today.
It's improved a lot.
It's improved a lot
in the minds of people. I liked it from the get go.
I can't get into like.
I haven't got into it yet to speak for myself. But like I've heard like
I've dropped out of it since
Savannah's watched it and she says it's fantastic, and like a few other people.
It's really good.
She loves Once Upon a Time too, doesn't she? I don't know if
She's not.
does.
She's not crazy about it anymore.
She used to be.
She used to be big into it. Not anymore. But like, Agents of Shield, she's told me many times, you would love this show. Like it's great. Yeah, and she's warned me already. She's the only thing that is bad is continuity. They don't really pay attention to that, and you can tell that they're kind of not matching up all the time. I'm like, okay.
I don't think it's their fault.
Yeah.
Apparently, the person in charge of the TV stuff and the person in charge of the movie stuff are kind of like,
yeah.
they kind of like
They don't care about each other. Yeah.
They're like, yeah, they're kind of like they're like we're working together, but they're kind of like working against each other.
So, I'm excited for the live action series, but as we approach the future of Star Wars, I know there's already been talk, and as far as I know, they have confirmed they're doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, which is a great idea.
Nice.
Do you think they continue forward after Ryan's trilogy, or do you think there's got to be a limit to where they can go? Like, eventually they have to stop. Do you think they're going to stop, or do you think they're going to be like Marvel right now, where Marvel's already going, we've got Phase 4 and a Phase 5.
It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Everything sort of.
Every good thing has to come to the end.
What's that? It's
I'm worried what's going to happen with Star Wars. It was what happened to Halo, a series that I like really well, right? So what happened in that is you hit that end point, right, where they hit 3, and that was it. They were done writing, and Microsoft said, "Oh, you got to make 2 more games." So they spit out 2 more, and they did a darn good job, right? And they said, "Okay, now we're done. Our contract is through. We have told our story. We are done." And then Microsoft said, "No, we can milk this for more money." And then they go along and they get a new industry to come along and make more of it, and it was terrible writing. It was despicable writing compared to the original stuff.
Sure.
And I'm worried that if they try to continue too far past 9, that's what's going to happen. Like you've got that story, you've got this really well designed thing that leads up to here, and now if you try to continue along that main story, along that line of telling the story of what happens to Rey and Kylo and all the others, you've hit that part. Like they've done it well with how they've transitioned from 6 to this, because there's a long period of time in between them. There's just new characters. Most of the old characters are, they're gone. They're not relevant anymore. I mean, sure, Chewbacca's still there and whatnot, but I mean, most of the characters are gone. We don't have to tell the story of what happens to Yoda or anything anymore. He's gone, or the Emperor. They've become irrelevant, and Darth Vader, they've become irrelevant. So you have these new characters that come along. But what happened with Halo is you have, okay, we need to tell the story of the Master Chief. They tell his story. Okay, now we need to keep telling the story. Well, it's over. We told it. That was it. And I'm worried that if after...
He's asking more about, because they're making they're doing a bunch of...
They're doing
trilogies.
Films.
Yeah,
standalone films like Han
they can
Solo.
handle this. If they do the standalone films, like the Han Solo, the Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Boba Fett, I think those will be amazing. And I think you can do not an infinite number, but you can do a lot of those.
So eventually they'll run out of characters.
But yeah, exactly. But I'm worried they're going to hit that if they try to keep going with the main story. That's my concern.
I think
they'll run that main story into death. But go ahead, yeah.
If in their current state of trying to keep it sort of sterile and stuff, eventually that'll run out.
Yeah.
And either it'll just kill it off, or they'll finally be like, okay, it's time for some weird stuff to happen.
Exactly.
So like when the Guardians of the Galaxy version
Or Doctor Strange.
version of a Star Wars movie, where it's on paper, it's like, this is probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just don't know if Star Wars.
I don't know if they can handle it.
Because I mean, even today, George, they openly admit that George Lucas still comes to filming and meetings of these movies, and he won't say, oh, you should do this, but he'll give his input. He'll be like, oh well, maybe that's not what they do. I know for a fact, Clone Wars, the animated series. Certain episodes were the weirdest things he's ever done. He did a zombie movie technically in one of them where the Geonosians were basically zombies. He did a mystical journey where Anakin visited where literally the Force was created.
I've heard the Clone Wars is great.
It's fantastic. I love Clone Wars to death. I love Clone Wars. But yeah, like he even mentioned it in like one of the Celebration interviews that Clone Wars, he would specifically take a franchise or a film that he adored, and he would ask the director, Philly, and he said, "Can we do a Star Wars episode?"
So Clone Wars has a lot of the sort of like, let's do something different.
Yeah,
with Star Wars.
and that's why I love it so much, because you will find so many episodes they do very unorthodox things, and I adore that about Clone Wars, and that's why I am truthfully excited about the live action. And that's what I hope.
Yeah, it could be, and that's what they need to do their crazy stuff. They don't need to do, the zombie movie in a main movie.
Right.
They need to do that in a little side thing that is questionably canon. Maybe that's
now
sort of on the side.
To follow up with where this needs to go. And you said it too, everything needs to have at least an end. I personally think, and this is just me, and I've said it before about Marvel, I think Marvel should literally cut in the book at the end of Infinity Wars Part 2. They're not going to, but I really think they should.
I agree.
I think Disney should at least end the Skywalker saga at episode 9. Like, it needs...
Oh, should.
Oh,
you
yeah.
need to close
That's
the
what I
book.
was talking about earlier. I was like, that
I
story.
just don't think they will.
Yeah.
No,
That's what I'm worried they won't, but I think that...
I don't foresee them doing that,
You-
because, it's so iconic.
You need to end your main story
I
with
think it
people
would
wanting
even
more.
be good to like right now they're at that yearly thing. Get to a point down the line, it's like we're gonna take a break.
Yeah.
Kind of like Assassin's Creed did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll end up with that franchise fatigue thing, where it's like, even though technically we've been working on this a long time, it just gets homogenous and it's like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now it's still fresh, and until we get to the Boba Fett, it's still going to be feeling really fresh, and this is awesome, but you can't just keep doing it every year.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think episode 9 needs to be, and I think John Boyega said that episode 9 would be like a war to end all wars, basically, and I think they're already alluding that there will be a sense of finality here, but like how you said, like, some of these characters are not as relevant anymore, or they shouldn't be in the future.
Yeah.
It is a problem, like, to this day. We can't still let go of Darth Vader, technically, because Kylo Ren's imitating him.
Yeah.
We can't let go of Luke Skywalker
his story is
because...
directly tied to it.
Yeah.
But that's part of the Skywalker.
I think it'll be the end. This one.
I hope so.
Because
Yeah.
they can't. Carrie Fisher, character, her, Princess Leia.
She's
obviously.
She can't be. I mean, what I'm
She
saying
can't be.
is, like,
And then I feel like the way this, The Last Jedi. I feel like, Luke's the Last Jedi, so I feel like something's going to happen to him.
Yeah.
So then there's pretty much goes all your characters right there.
Yeah.
So
Something's got to happen.
Will
with
be
that.
a new
from the originals.
from the originals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be like, okay, now let's do Rey?
Well, I think it
story
depends
after?
on really and truly. And I had a good conversation with a friend over the weekend whose Rey lineage really is. I think that will determine the tone for
How
the
this-
next.
Yeah. If you ever learn that, or like I kind of was hoping they would do it to where she's just random person.
He argued with me this weekend. He was like, I don't believe that her lineage is important. I'm like, I don't believe Disney would literally put hints and clues in front of your face in episode 7 and then put you in episode 8 and say it's not important.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that.
It's,
Yeah. I'm just
They built it
worried
up
it'll
too
be
much.
something dumb.
Yeah.
Like I guess I'm worried she'll be related in some weird way to the Skywalkers or whatnot, and make it just kind of stupid. That wouldn't make any sense.
That's what's gonna happen, buddy.
Yeah.
I would hope that Disney would be smart enough, and this is where I
Yeah.
have faith in Ryan Johnson, that Ryan Johnson's going to go, no, that's literally everybody, even myself, are calling it. It makes the most sense why she's Luke's daughter. I don't want to do that. It can't be Han and Leia's daughter. It's got to be someone else. I put this in the other day. I think it could be cool if maybe Snoke is actually her dad.
Yeah,
And,
something like that. I mean,
yeah.
it would be kind of a redo a bit of episode 5 in that case.
Mhm.
But at least it wouldn't be dumb.
Right.
At least it would
And
be...
I mean, in some ways, like, he would have never known that really he is her daughter because she was taken at such a young age. So, I mean, it fits, like, in some ways, like, why is Luke terrified of her? Why was she hidden specifically? Because we still don't know that.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a good reason for all that, and I think that'll be explained really well.
We'll figure that out.
Yeah, we'll know that in a month, so we'll know that soon. But it's irrelevant now.
Now, switching over to more of a game aspect, and again, this is Disney stepping in to EA. I think it's very clear that EA is
EA almost feels like they don't want to make Star Wars games.
I'm just gonna
They're
say
struggling a lot more than I thought they would.
there are some EA games that I really, really love, but I've never been a huge fan of them. Like, I'm willing to admit that fully. Like, they make me very angry when I look at the video game industry as a whole. And this is a prime example why.
Every time I think I'm getting over it, I'm like, you're okay now.
Yep.
Nope. You remind me you're really not.
Yeah.
And I know we discussed the campaign just a little bit. You guys haven't played it yet, but like,
I don't know.
this is. I'm just gonna leave it as spoiler free as possible.
Yeah.
I feel that they put the campaign there in order to get the aspects of multiplayer into it.
I mean, take a box and be like, hey, we put a campaign in this time.
Yeah, and it's
Kind of.
like they have a coherent story, and like it does pay off.
It's a good story. Admittedly, it fits in very well to the actual canon of Star Wars.
I just feel like they went. So what are our multiplayer modes? Okay, put this in a campaign, and we'll come up with this own original story. That part I was, and the marketing and the idea of the story, even the premise, like the first intro of it, like I wasn't crazy about like the whole. I don't want to spoil it, but like the very intro.
Yeah.
So the probe droid, I don't particularly care for that mission. I was kind of like.
I'm a huge Metal Gear Solid fan. So
Okay.
like, I loved that. I was like,
okay. So maybe it's just me then. Like
I was hoping there'd be a cardboard box somewhere just for a reference, but no.
I mean, like once I started playing it, I was kind of like, and this is coming from playing stuff like Destiny 2, and I even recently started playing Call of Duty World War II because people are telling me I need to play this like crazy, and then again I'm reminded of like, man, COD's controls are really smooth, they are really good, and I play Battlefront, and I'm like, these are really floaty, like I feel like my gun is going.
Oh yeah,
Well,
that's
you're
true.
in space.
Yeah. But that's true, and that's something as a player of arena games like Halo and whatnot, I never can get used to the aiming system. I play really good in the space battles, but I'm terrible on the ground. I cannot fight in the ground battles. But as far as like the actual game was made, I'm glad that they got rid of the whole issue of you had to basically pay to play as after you'd bought the game. I'm glad that that's gone, and I'm pretty sure that Disney had a hand in that. If I'm not
I was
mistaken.
about to say this is links back to Disney coming back in and having creative control. Do you think that EA is done? Like, do you think that Disney has now stepped in and said, okay, your time with us is coming to a close. Fix this. We're going to move on.
Yeah.
But you're on our bad list right now, basically. Because,
I think so, because like...
That's why they bought that studio.
Yeah.
That had made Titanfall, right? They balled them up and like, you're making Star Wars games now, right? Respawn?
Yeah, Respawn is making, and Stig Asmussen, who did God.
And they already were, but
they're making a specific Jedi.
Amy
game.
Hennig's thing.
Yeah, that Amy Hennig game.
I'm
that's
so
the one that
sad.
went bye bye, which I was really bummed about.
EA, why? How do you do?
I don't know what happened to her either. Like she's in limbo apparently. So.
But in all honesty, about the game though, the one thing I was the most upset with is the single player aspect is not there. The campaign I personally thought was good, but the what made Battlefront 2 was the Galactic Conquest, right?
Yeah,
everyone loved that.
Yeah, it was
and
fantastic. I love
that. Is non-existent, and people have said that from the very first one. Where's the Galactic Conquest? We didn't care about a campaign if that's Galactic Conquest. Everyone said that the first game.
Just give us missions highlighting what was going on during these wars.
Yeah, and then number 2, the most requested thing was Galactic Conquest, and it never even showed up. That would not have been that hard to make. But they didn't do it, and that was what surprised me. I still don't think it was a bad game necessarily, but I think they missed out on what could have been made them huge again.
I don't think multiplayer is bad. Like multiplayer is fun, but like as I said, the campaign just literally feels like they took multiplayer aspects and put it into the campaign. Even implementing heroes, no spoilers of who's in there, but like I was infuriated because I was like, you give me this new character, you build her up. And now I'm not even playing as her.
Yeah.
And now I'm flip-flopping through...
I did not expect that.
Oh my god, it's infuriating.
Yeah, I didn't see it as a big
For
deal.
a short campaign, that sounds like
it's 4 hours.
Idea.
Really? I spent a
4
lot more time on it, but I did a lot of stuff. So
I sped through it because I'm trying. I was telling Michael and today Mark Poe, I'm trying to replay many of these games for our annual game of the year, and I literally just went right through it, and I was like, man, that was short. How long? And then, like, I just happened to realize, like, I started this at 12. It's like Oh my god, that took only 4 hours.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's kind of that personally bums me out. Like
Yeah.
in some ways, I think you can still make a really good game if it's short.
Mhm.
But I don't know if this was a really
Yeah.
like a game worthy of that.
Yeah, it could have probably used. I do think that they definitely could have spent some more time on it and continued it on after the end, because it definitely continues it, and you know they're just gonna make DLC for the rest of that, because like that.
Well,
They have to.
They have to
now. They have to do something.
the way that it
this
ended.
is out of control.
So I mean, like, it was a short campaign, and I was kind of expecting it to
like
continue.
3 DLC updates? Because didn't they say
It's all
originally
free.
there was
Okay.
Yeah.
It's all
So do
free.
you think they would expand the single player campaign as well? Through
Yeah.
that system?
I would hope.
Well, I would be
Or do you
utterly
think they're like
amazed.
Battlefront 3?
I
they
honestly,
could,
I honestly don't think DICE. See, I say this, but then I think about Battlefield 1. I'm like, man, they did great on that.
but see, I didn't like Battlefield 1 though. It was weird.
Okay.
So like,
Was it like multiplayer or just the campaign?
just the multiplayer I didn't like.
Okay.
I'm not a World
Having
War
not
person.
played it,
Yeah.
That campaign, I want to.
Yeah.
Like the
I
campaign
can't get into the
was really
campaign
good
really.
for
It's
Battlefield 1.
weird. It's something about World War One, World War Two era games. I can't get into them. I just don't like them. I don't like historical games. I like sci-fi, and I guess that's why I can't get into old games.
So just coming from Battlefield 1
Yeah.
to Battlefront 2,
Yeah.
that's what I expected from the campaign,
Mhm.
and I was kind of like, Battlefront 2 multiplayer, I got exactly what I wanted. Like,
Yeah.
just more expensive maps, except for the microtransactions.
Yeah.
That was where the limit was.
What do you mean? I didn't do it.
Like,
Yeah.
that's too much for me. But like the multiplayer maps, just playing multiplayer,
Yeah.
that's great.
Mhm.
And that again, this is what I was about to say. I don't think Dyson really knows how to make a proper single player
Yeah.
Star Wars game.
Yeah.
I think they know how to do multiplayer.
Yeah.
I think they got that. Like,
The Starfighter assault is beautiful. I mean, it's literally one of the most beautiful things I've ever played. It's visually amazing. It controls perfectly. It's awesome. Like, it's set up so well. Even the little acting with the droids, I was so happy when the droids came up. Just Roger, I loved it.
now, do you think?
But
This goes back to what I'm saying. Do you think that Disney is like with the DLC in the future and just how it moves forward here? Do you think Disney is going to step in and go, "You messed up"?
I think they've said.
They
I
did.
think that's why.
Well,
they
I mean,
all of a
like at
sudden-
this point, yeah,
Yeah.
but like in the future.
I think that's a big deal that they actually stepped in and were like, hey.
We got a movie coming out next month, and you just kind of give us a bad rap, so you need to fix this like now.
But in the future games too, like with Respawn,
This is gonna have ripple effects. I don't know what those effects
So
are
you're
gonna
saying
be.
you think the next company, what's the next company called again?
so it's the guys who made Titanfall.
Okay.
It's still
you're
EA.
saying will
It's
they
still
have an
EA.
even shorter leash?
I would imagine.
That's what I'm basically getting.
Yeah.
I don't think Respawn's gonna have a problem because Respawn's a really good developer. I trust them with a lot of their stuff, especially after Titanfall 2. I don't think anybody's really had a problem with them. But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. I think the question is, do you think Disney is literally gonna go, EA, sit on my lap?
But it's Disney's fault.
It
I
is.
think, because they got Star Wars, they had their own game thing, and they're. I
Yeah,
mean,
no.
how terrible. They own little pieces of the pie everywhere. That dabble in this, dabble in that.
They've
Tiny little
they-
masters
they
of
said
everything.
They make a good game developer.
Video
Yeah.
games,
Yeah.
they literally went, you know what? We don't know what we're doing. We give up.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
said they gave up. They
They-
tried. They gave up. And then you get LucasArts. And sure, maybe you don't like what they're doing now. Restructure them. They're yours now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
They're
point.
like, nah,
They
forget
made-
this.
Yeah,
Forget
Yeah.
having a game company full of
Full
people who
talent.
can make our stuff.
yeah.
Pull talent from other
Yeah.
developers. You had Amy Hennig, who
Yeah,
did the
yeah.
original 3 Uncharted films, 3 of possibly
So you get the-
3 of the best written games in modern day,
Mhm.
and you just lost it.
Yeah,
And then
Yeah.
you're like, nah, we want to make this more Destiny-like because that's like the current trend. And like,
No, don't.
Not every game needs to be that.
Yeah.
yeah.
Not every game needs to be that.
Yeah.
just make another one.
Yeah.
There's enough space for you to make as many Star Wars games as you want.
Yeah.
Now, we'll take this opportunity, since we're on the subject of video game developers and Disney, to segue into Marvel now, since it's technically owned with Disney as well.
Are they making games?
They are making games.
Really?
So,
Spider-Man.
as Michael has pointed out, Disney cannot, for some reason, make a great video game developing company.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they have decided to say, hey, we've got these great IPs.
Yeah.
We're gonna go through the field and go, we want this person to make a game about this.
Yeah.
Some examples. I don't know why they picked EA, but EA's got to deal with Disney to at least do, I guess now, just 2 Star Wars games left. They looked at Marvel and they said, hey, Telltale, you can do Guardians of the Galaxy. And now, Insomniac, you get Spider-Man. They went full-on crazy with Spider-Man, though, by saying, don't put it in our cinematic universe.
This is yours.
This is yours. Make it.
That's why.
Okay, that's good. See, that's what they needed to do with it.
Well, on the level of creativity,
Yeah.
they're still going to honor the comics, and you can tell Insomniac is going to do fantastic, but like the fact that we're not playing as high school Peter, we're not really playing as college Peter, like he's Spider-Man older, he's in his prime, we've never experienced
It's
this
not
kind of
even
Spider-Man.
the same Spider-Man from the movies. It's
Right.
like,
Yeah,
Or any
that's
tell-
good.
So it can stand as its own thing.
Yeah,
They're
that's
taking
good.
the video game more seriously, and that's wonderful.
That is good. I didn't even know. I heard they were making one and never bothered
Oh
to
my
look
god,
at
the
it.
trailers for them the past like year.
It's weird. I don't watch video games. I almost never watch video games. I mean, I'm an avid gamer, but I usually play
Really
like,
should
PC
watch
games a
those
lot. But
trailers.
I didn't even watch Assassin's Creed Origins trailer because I wanted it to be a surprise. Like,
That's probably for the best.
It's
yeah.
probably
I
Their
try to
their
avoid-
advertising leading up to it was kind of
Really?
wonky.
Yeah. Like when I notice there's a trailer out for a game that I might be interested in, I almost never watch the trailer because I'm like, oh,
I can't help myself.
yeah. I
Yeah,
watch
it's
too
same
much.
here. Well, then just to take our word for it, it looks really flipping good. Like,
That's good.
and this is a PlayStation exclusive, which
Uh-huh.
I mean, Disney and PlayStation have always had a really great relationship, anyways. But
Probably might have something to do with Sony having the movie rights, or did at the time.
yeah, and I also feel like they probably trust PlayStation more because I mean, the one franchise that Disney still has a huge thumb in their legacy is Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
And I know I love that, but like, I think that's a big reason why they said, sure, we'll go with PlayStation on this. But the
Yeah.
selection
Well,
process.
of course they did team up with Square Enix for the
That's
Marvel
true.
stuff too, didn't they?
I could also see like PlayStation feels like it's been less rocky. Like Xbox has had its massive ups and then its massive downs, but PlayStation is sort of on this nice even. It doesn't really spike all over the place.
I don't
It's
know.
a safe
PS3 was kind of
Well, see, I
first.
At the very launch of the PS3.
it trucked it out though.
see, I love the PS, and we're getting way into more video game like
Yeah.
subjects, which we can talk about that, but like we'll have to bring it back towards.
You're
the
right. Yeah.
I love the
Stay on
PS3
topic.
because the PS3 had, to me, the most. It had the most experimental games. Like you had so many PS exclusives come out at that time, like new ones, like and just new games in general. Like you had BioShock coming out, which again is not a PlayStation exclusive, but you had Uncharted, you had Infamous, you had The Last of Us, you had Heavenly Sword, which people forget about all the time. Like you had
I don't even
a
know what that
ton of PlayStation exclusive that just came out, and now a lot of them are being remastered and put on
Yeah.
PS4, which tells you great things about how the PS3 did. But Disney probably looks at PlayStation as the safe route. Like right now, they have won this console generation.
Yeah.
They are the ones who are making money. They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Let's pick one of the developers. I was surprised it was Insomniac. I really didn't think it was going to be them.
Which is interesting because they were the ones who made Spyro the Dragon, the first video game I ever played when I was like a little kid. So I think that's
Well, I mean, they just got
good
off
game.
of Ratchet and Clank last year in 2016.
Oh wow.
And I was like,
Yeah. I've played the old ones, but
man,
never the new
they're
ones.
already working on this, and like I thought for sure, like they're not gonna be doing this for like another 2-3 years, but now it's coming out next year, and it's made like serious progress, which I don't know if that's. I don't know really like financial situations of video games versus having Disney as your background going.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't hurt.
There you go. I'm sure it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure it
yeah.
doesn't. But
Disney has some money.
But like you can see that Insomniac is being much more creative with Marvel than with Disney, because I mean they're bringing in a villain that hardly anybody knows for Spider-Man for Mr. Negative, which is a great idea.
Wow, that's a really good idea.
It is a great idea.
They're not doing just the Rhino and Shocker again and all those.
No, I'm sure that they do have Shocker as a villain.
That's fine.
But like,
I mean, he's a good villain. I'm not saying he's a bad villain. I'm just saying that every Spider-Man game.
But they are very much, at least from promotional, they're making it very apparent that Mr. Negative is going to have probably the biggest dominant villain force in this, which is great. But again, so what is the difference here? Why does Disney have a short leash on Marvel, or not? I'm sorry, a short leash on Star Wars, and then a long leash on Marvel.
Well,
Do you think because Marvel is just
Marvel has already done all the crazy stuff. They've already gone out there. You have some ridiculous Marvel comics where you know
Marvel has
the Hulk becomes
the fan
Galactus.
base. Wouldn't you say?
The
fan base.
The fan base is more open to just crazy. They've read the crazy comics.
I mean, even if the Marvel movies never took off and they all flopped, Marvel would still be a thing. Whereas the Star Wars thing is like, that only really worked. I mean, there's a lot of the extended universe stuff that's done
Some
well,
people
but
are
the real meat of it's always been these films, and it's like, if you mess that up, it's like, you've killed it.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many different little Marvel universes, so many different comic book strings, and some of them are so crazier than others. Like, the fans of that are already accustomed to just ridiculously stupid plot twists. Things that are really either really good and crazy or really bad and crazy. And like they've been through all that, where Star Wars fans haven't. I mean, unless you've really paid attention to the extended universe, but true. Like,
and plus, Marvel has their movies where they've been able to sort of go out on different limbs, and it's worked out for them. And they've done so well so long that they feel a little more confident in it, I think, which is weird to say. They're not as confident.
There's been some pretty bad like superhero movies.
But Marvel has not had one. Like, I don't think people realize this, but like, if we're going by Rotten Tomatoes, they've not had a bad tomato. All of them have been certified fresh. Yeah, and, like, you can watch any of them, and you can be like, I enjoyed it. Like, it was, like some of them are better than others.
Yeah,
obviously.
I'm not saying that any of the movies were bad. I'm saying that the idea of it was that the people who are already Marvel fans coming into this were expecting. We're totally accustomed to things being out there, trying like crazy new things. Like you were saying, like Rey being like Mace Windu's daughter or something. You know, something ridiculous. Like, I mean, really unlikely considering, you know, but. Yeah, crazy theory. No, I was
still say
Snoke.
Snoke.
Okay, Snoke. I can't remember what you said. For some reason, I was thinking Mace Windu.
I don't think Snoke's human.
See, a lot of people have like brought that up. They're like, is it because like I'm like the sole purpose of the reason why is because we don't know anything about him.
That's true.
They're keeping him just as a mystery, just as much as her, for a reason. I don't believe he's old. I believe he's been disfigured by whatever he's been dabbling in.
He had like a big gash in his head or something.
Yeah,
so like
I fully believe like he's not old. He's just been very disfigured. If
he's old and disfigured.
Well, see, that's the only thing that I could say that would be he can't be Rey's father, but like.
Well, is he? I mean, I know the First Order and the Empire before them were really, really racist entities. They didn't like having other species in. You know, their leaders were always human. This guy's leading the First Order, who's still that really human centrist. You'd think he would have to be a human.
Well, I mean, I guess Anakin didn't have a father, so I guess she doesn't have.
See, we're getting more into the whole like. So is it another chosen one prophecy, or are we having Darth Plagueis?
It's like poetry; it does repeat.
Yeah, Snoke could be somebody like that.
There's someone who, like, to this day is still like telling me, like, in Episode 8, somebody has to get their hand cut off. I'm like, why? Because it's Star Wars. Someone always gets their hand cut off.
Yeah, it's true.
It makes sense.
I mean, it makes sense, but like, this is what I'm saying. Like, Disney needs to realize we've got to at least take some things, kind of like Breath of the Wild, and say we're not going to do exactly the same thing we've always done. Like, we're going to try and change it up.
And I hope that they do that, and I hope that they do it well, and not in a way that's so out there. Because they could easily run away with it and make it ridiculous, and it wouldn't be as good. But they can still keep it Star Wars and go a cool direction with it. It just requires a really good creative mind, and I hope that is what
I think if he's getting his own trilogy, that they have great faith in him.
Yeah, I hope that's the case, and I hope it's not just the people that's giving him the power saying, "Oh, we like it," and then the fans aren't. But I have a bit of faith.
Going back to Marvel for a second, and we'll get off of the video games now, and now we're going to talk about, has people seen Thor Ragnarok?
Yes, we all saw it together.
Okay, great. So, spoiler cast. Did we like the movie?
Yeah.
Is it the best Marvel movie?
It's the best Thor movie. Definitely.
I thought it was
Best-
the
best
best Thor movie.
Best
Yeah.
Thor movie.
Is it the best
My
Marvel
favorite
movie?
Marvel movie
No.
is still Winter Soldier.
Okay.
I really like
I don't know
it.
what my favorite Marvel.
It's hard for me to pick. I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy, but this feels
Guardians
like
is
the Guardians.
Yeah.
Like it really feels like it. So it has the same. I guess this has the same meat to it because there's a lot of the same characters in it. Again, the spoilers already said.
Sure.
It has a lot of the same characters in it. The Guardians themselves aren't in it, but the same character, the Collector and whatnot. Which I don't think that's a spoiler. It was in the trailer, I think. But still, the fact that that is all there, I guess that has a more of a Guardians feel to it. But it just had a good way of it wrapping everything up and it getting it to where it needed to be, and it was a perfect mix of like the crazy funny stuff and the real serious stuff. They did a good job meshing that together.
Unpopular opinion. I think there's too much comedy in this.
Too much comedy in
Too
them?
much.
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
Ragnarok
can see it.
probably should have reeled back a bit. I agree.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong
I
with
did
the comedy.
agree with that
it's-
too. Yeah.
It's done very well, but there was just points like.
And there
I
are
was
parts
like,
where like it undercuts things, and it's like, not now, guys.
for
Yeah.
example, Hulk or Bruce jumping from the Quinjet onto the bridge, funny,
Yeah.
really funny. But I went, why?
Why now?
Why
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
You're at the brink of the Asgardians having
Yeah,
face
they sort of
extinction.
kind of
It
killed.
felt like
the end of
it did feel like with the comedy, it felt like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, much more.
That's
It worked in Guardians a
It
lot
does work
better
in Guardians.
Guardians,
better.
yeah.
because
I
it's
agree.
like it's
That's what it
Yeah.
kind of eccentric like that. That's what it is.
I felt
Whereas-
like this may be not be true, but I feel like the reason why they put so much comedy in Thor is they started doing it and they realized, wow, this is really dark. We need to lighten up the mood.
I
Because
think Dark World for sure.
yeah, and I
Well,
think
I
that they
guess
were
Dark
like,
World
this
was,
stuff is
but-
too dark. We need Thor to lighten up a bit, and we need to keep the
I
series.
think they
tone
realized
and-
that the comedy stuff, which has always been there, but I think they're
yeah,
like that's kind of like their safety net.
yeah.
So I think because
so-
Thor is something they've kind of struggled with, I think they leaned into the comedy a bit
Yeah.
more because it was like, we know this works.
And it worked. There may have been a bit much, and I agree there may have been a bit much. I still think it was a good
worked for
movie.
No, it worked.
Yeah.
It was still a great movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not taking anything from it.
Yeah, but I could see how it could be a bit much.
Another unpopular opinion. I think Spider-Man: Homecoming is a better film.
Then Ragnarok,
I do.
that's unpopular.
I mean,
I thought it was a good movie.
there's a lot of people who have been like, "You're crazy! Like, it's Homecoming is so overplayed," and I'm like,
I mean, for
No,
pure
it's not.
rewatch, I would rather rewatch Spider-Man: Homecoming for me personally.
I mean, granted, I guess I've always been.
I've
bigger
always been a
Spider-Man
huge
fan,
Spider-Man
Yeah.
so
fan
that might
too,
play
yeah.
into this.
yeah, I was gonna say, I will fully admit, I'm
in
biased,
my
but
head,
Spider-Man's my favorite Marvel.
Trying to
movie.
deconstruct this,
That's my favorite
I'm pretty
superhero.
sure it's just straight up a better movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm never like. I mean, I used to be a big Spider-Man fan. I'm not really anymore. So like, I seen the movie. I thought it was good. I don't know which I can rank better, Ragnarok or Homecoming. But someone who really isn't that big of a Spider-Man fan, I didn't think that Homecoming was like that bad of a movie. I didn't see it being bad. I thought it was really good.
See,
So-
I walked away from that, and like a lot of people have been like, "Well, Spider-Man 2 is still better," and I'm like, I think
I'm in that camp.
I can
Raimi's
see-
Spider-Man is superior, but this
It wasn't bad.
Homecoming
works.
is really.
This is a
flipping
good homecoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even so, I think if we were like saying overall superhero films, like I think you could say Spider-Man 2 is in the
Up
upper
there.
echelon, and if we were saying
And
just
the Dark
cinematic universe,
Yeah, just the cinematic universe.
Spider-Man:
Within
Homecoming
the
is right up there.
Yeah, that's good. I still don't know what Homecoming means or why it is there.
Oh, it's just because.
What's the name of the like prom thing? they got
Yeah,
there?
he's.
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
Homecoming.
okay.
And then
I couldn't-
also
I
Kevin
thought
Feige.
that
It's a
it was
play on words because he's back in the.
That's why I
Marvel
thought it was the
MCU.
case.
Because
and I
Kevin
couldn't
Feige
figure it out
openly
why they
said,
called
he's
it.
like, Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and I've waited for this moment
Yeah.
for the longest time, so it is his homecoming, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
I also forced him back into high school.
Yeah.
Poor kid.
The reason why I like Homecoming more and over Thor Ragnarok, and like I'm interested to hear your guys' opinions, is that I like that Homecoming is low stakes. But what I mean by low stakes is, it's just Vulture and Spidey. It's
Yeah.
just that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no.
They didn't need to go-
Chitauri,
Yeah.
none Thanos. Just focused on Spider-Man's struggles.
Yeah.
Sure, you had Iron Man in there. Sure, you had the allusion to the Avengers. But even at the end of the film, he goes, "No, I'm gonna be friendly neighborhood
You
Spider."
got to be
Yeah.
Spider-Man's.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I love that so
Whereas
much.
Thor Ragnarok is
Ragnarok. Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Yeah. That was a good like end of the world movie, but it was only for Asgard. You know, it still had that.
Yeah.
Whole, you know.
What was a better Hulk movie?
Yeah,
There was a better Hulk movie.
That's what I
It
said.
was
Was that
true.
what I said?
It's a better Hulk movie than Hulk.
Yeah, I thought I said it was like a better. Yeah, it was a Hulk movie.
Homecoming also, I still like between. No, I will say it. I think Michael Keaton's Vulture is a much better villain, in-depth villain than Loki. Like, I'm sorry, a lot of people are like, oh, I love Loki. I love Tom Hiddleston and I love Loki to death. But Homecoming gave me a full arc of a villain with motivation, with a very strong intensity. I was genuinely afraid for Peter Parker in that film. I was like, oh my god. Yeah. Like, I wasn't even scared of the Vulture suit. It was just that scene. I was like, this
that guy
is terrifying.
is a legitimately scary person.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's weird because at that moment, the hero, when he's in that car, he's more able to overpower the Vulture at that point. But he can't.
He's controlling the
But you don't feel
scene.
that way.
You don't feel that way. Even though Spider-Man is obviously 100 times stronger than this guy, you know, the other guys, it's the Hannibal Lecter feel.
Mm-hmm.
Hannibal Lecter is in prison and you still are worried for your life.
And
it's
yet-
that feel.
And yet he was such a good villain, but he had actually just genuine good motivations. Like
Yeah, no.
I, if anything, I believe Michael Keaton stole the show as Vulture in that, and like, so many people were worried when Vulture was the villain. They announced Vulture as the villain, and they're like, oh man.
Yeah, because I was happy about that actually because I thought that was a villain that you can expand on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a really smart dude.
And now we are. And they didn't kill him off. We're hopefully going to get more Vulture.
Yeah.
But look at Hela in.
Now they messed up some stuff with Hela. Hela, according to Norse mythology, I'm pretty sure is supposed to be Loki's daughter. Not
She is.
Okay, she is. All right, so you confirm me on that. But that was one thing I thought was odd. But I mean, obviously, I see what they did. You can't just. It's fine. It doesn't matter. You know that. Okay, I'll give him that. Okay, you make Odin's daughter. But it sort of really. Not saying that it made it a bad movie, but it really made me see Odin in a different light. You know, this guy was a warlord that, you know, conquered 9 realms that used his daughter in this way to do this, and I kind of.
I liked what it did for Odin, even though he was in there for just barely a few minutes. But it reminded me. So side note, I was so excited for Mads Mikkelsen to be the villain in Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
I was so excited because he is such a talented actor and he's fantastic in almost anything he does.
I can barely remember him in that movie.
That's one. Like,
he's really not a big part of the movie.
No villain.
Yeah.
That it killed me. Hela, even though she had the motivations of revenge.
Mm-hmm.
I literally had flashbacks to that. I was like, oh my god, I don't really care about you. Like, I don't care about your motivation. Like, I care about Loki. I care about Michael Keaton's Vulture. And to an extent, I care about Thanos and what his overall plan is. Even though I haven't had him in a film, they've alluded that he is the big baddie of this, so obviously I care about him.
Boy, I hope that pans out well.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
But, okay, one thing about Loki real fast. Loki is a character that they really could do really well on.
Sure.
Like, and they did in the last one, right? Whenever he's pretending to be dead.
Yep.
And, you know that he's actually...
alive.
Yeah, that he's actually Odin this whole time sitting on the throne, you know, talking to Thor. And that was good. That was what Loki is. And they didn't do Loki in... I mean, they did a good... he's there. And sure, you know, he tries to pull his mission, but he can't even trick Thor in this one. You know, like, it's...
Well, I mean, they've been having this constant struggle since Thor 1, and that came out in 2011. But
I feel like they're kind of winding down.
Yeah, I mean, probably... I guess I felt like I wanted more Loki, and Loki felt like more of a wimp, I guess, this time. He's not...
I mean, that's fair.
He's not that god of mischief anymore. I mean, Thor becomes the true god of thunder in this one, right? You know, he's properly a god, and then Loki doesn't feel like he's.
I feel like he hit the god of mischief really and truly in Thor 1. Like, he fully embraced that, and then going into the Avengers 1, he was fully still in that. Dark World was more of his starting to. I'm teetering on the edge between being the god of mischief and then just kind of
existing.
Just kind of looking out for myself. I don't really have a problem with Thor so much. I just want to just do my own thing.
Well, they sort of allude to him being that mischievous guy when he's already, like, as soon as Thor arrives, again, huge spoilers from the movie, but as soon as they arrive at the place, the Coliseum area, that he's already best friends with the Overseer dude. Mm-hmm. You know, like, that's Loki. Mm-hmm. You know, he will always, work himself, and he's the snake in the back. He's always that worm somewhere. He's always there. And I think that was good. But when it actually came down to, like, having some master plan to do something, he just always seems to fall apart in this one. Like, he doesn't ever come up with, like, this way of just saving himself or, having this plan for getting out. It was just like, oh, well, looks like I'm screwed. I mean, his best, in the one scene where he just runs away, he just makes the copy of himself and just runs away from Thor. That's not God of Mischief, that's panic mode. That's not, that's not grand overarching scheme.
That's fair.
Yeah. So that's what I didn't like about it. But I still loved the movie, and I still think he was a good actor and did a good job. I just feel like they could have maybe written that a bit more thoughtfully.
I didn't like Thor losing his eye.
Really? I loved that part.
I did.
That brought everything circular.
It makes sense why they did it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But I just feel like it was an unnecessary choice. That was just me. Like, it really, like, to me, like, you can say it's symbolism.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it makes sense of why it happens, sure. Mm-hmm. But I still just think it was kind of unnecessary. Yeah. Like, I don't think it served a purpose other than just the symbolism.
Yeah. I think that's why I liked it, was the symbolism. It actually did sort of bring a... Because the movie was, like you said, really comical. I mean, possibly too much, but I think that was...
To me, like, I think him losing guy would be better if that was, the end. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they were going to end the whole Thor thing, like, not going to make, but where it's going to go straight into Infinity Wars. I didn't like it that much either.
See, someone told me that they see that as his growing of his character. Like, at that point,
right there,
this is when he loses his eye. It's almost, and I said, I don't foresee that at all. I really think that his character grew from the moment he lost Odin. Mm-hmm. And the moment that he ended up being a prisoner, like, it was already happening. Mm-hmm. Because he was like, I've lost, basically. Mm-hmm. Like, it's very clear, I've lost. And this is, for me, this was a symbolism, because even more iconic than his eye, his hair, his golden locks of hair.
Yeah, he loses that too.
Brilliant Stan Lee cameo. But that to me was much more of, this is him... his character changing. This is a sign of his character changing because...
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew ever since the hammer and the hair. That
the hammer. Get the hammer, but because it's not in the film. But like, even that was such a big...
Yeah.
Your character's now changing. So.
Yeah. So I think they did a good evolution with the character there. I can see where you're coming from with it was a bit lighthearted for the scene, but I do think they were scared of hitting that. Oh, the last two were not really all that big, and they are kind of dark. Maybe we should lighthearten it a bit. I can kind of see where they were coming from in that one. I don't think it was necessary, but I'm kind of glad it had some really great funny parts in it.
No,
I think it was the right choice. I think they just leaned a little too hard.
I agree. I think it was the right choice. Lean too hard. I agrey. Couldn't say
like overcompensation.
Yeah, overcompensation.
Like orgy shit. I don't need to know about the orgy shit from. I don't need to know about that. And then even
that was definitely necessary. I love that.
So, since we're talking about the comedy, I know for sure you guys will talk about this. I personally did not like the Hulk in this one. I liked Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
I really liked him. I just didn't particularly care for the Hulk. Like, I felt like he was a toddler.
I can agree with you, yeah.
I can understand why, because, I mean, we are now at the stage where we are discovering that the Hulk is an entirely different entity than Bruce Banner, and he's slowly developing as a child would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after seeing The Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton, whether you want to count that or not, Avengers 1 and Avengers 2, seeing the Hulk being this extremely complicated, like, character, with such, like, just amazing presence, and then coming and watching him at Thor Ragnarok, I was like,
well, I
enjoyed it, but now that you mention it, I guess it does sort of feel like this should have been earlier, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
This feels a little late for this sort of revelation to start, I guess. Yeah, it's like a late starting site. It didn't occur to me just now, but it's like, Yeah, Hulk's been around.
You kind of feel like his
Well, Hulk
development would have been.
Yeah.
a bit.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's hard to develop the character of the Hulk, right, in the
Yeah.
Avengers movies, because
Yeah.
most of the Avengers movies, he's Banner.
Right.
And he only becomes the
Becomes
Hulk,
Hulk.
in the action scenes,
Yeah.
because why would he become... And you can, without having a standalone Hulk film.
I think it works though.
It does.
No,
So
I think it does.
does.
It was a choice that I
It
wish.
didn't bother me.
Yeah, it didn't bother
You
me.
brought it up, and now I'm a little bit like, yeah.
It's there, yeah.
It's still there, but I kind of agree with you. I kind of wish it had started prior.
Yeah,
to this.
if they would have had a standalone Hulk film, or maybe something to bring out Banner, because I think they could tell a good story of Banner,
Mhm.
of just most of the movie being Banner. But
So as Disney wraps up with Phase 4, I think is what we're on right now, with Infinity Wars, where do you think they go from here? Like, obviously they're going to keep going.
Soft reboot.
yeah,
I think it's
Now
the
define
plan.
that. Like, what do you mean by that?
Like a lot of these people that have been around since like that we started with, that we've been going with since basically Avengers 1, gonna kinda fade them out a little bit because they're gonna get too expensive
And old.
and sort of swap out with other different people and sort of move away from the
So do you recast, or you just play them off?
both. Some you recast, some you kind of play off and come back to later.
Because, I mean, could you really, like, in good conscience, could you cast another Iron Man at this point in time?
yeah. It could.
I think he's one. I think he's gonna survive the reboot.
Okay.
I think they're afraid to lose him.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
I mean, the whole
And he's so
it
much of
seems
a-
like the whole Marvel U is based on him. You
So
know?
Yeah, that's true.
either it'll end. I don't think they'll recast.
He's
Iron
their
Man.
Batman.
yeah,
They might.
That's
It'd be ballsy. I don't think they do it though.
Yeah.
I feel like at least not immediately. I think either he'll keep going or it's like this will be like his end,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll hard cut him off.
Yeah.
how about
And I mean they'll leave it open so that someone else can eventually take that. But I think they'll save that for later if they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I think the heroes that will lead in the new generation of where we go will probably be Guardians, and right now I would say Doctor Strange. I want to say Spider-Man will be there, but I know that Sony's deal with Marvel, I think, only has one more film, and I don't know if
Kind
that...
of shaky.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still... Marvel and Sony are going to play nice. I hope they do. I
hope so, too,
really
yeah.
hope they do.
Because I
Homecoming
really loved the Homecoming.
Right.
It was good.
Yeah.
And now it's introduced at a late time, so we have time to go through a trilogy with Tom Holland, and I don't see why we wouldn't, but unless... I don't know. But do you think that... Tyler and I were saying, do you think they should really just close the book, or do you think...
I mean, I'm definitely of the opinion, after seeing several of my favorite, series go through, and just they keep trying to kick a dead horse, and that's what I'm afraid is going to happen. Like when you need to end, I think I said it earlier with Star Wars, is you need to end your series with people wanting more, and it's hard to do. But if you end it like that, if you end on the high note, if you end being that legend with everyone screaming for encore, people will always love it,
Yeah.
and it's going to be memorable forever. And if you try to keep it going and it eventually just fades into oblivion, people just don't care anymore. That's
And
it.
then it'll take a while until people are like,
Yeah, and then
they'll
it'll be-
forget about.
They'll
all
forget
that.
about the bad stuff.
And
And
just
like,
remember
oh
the
yeah,
good stuff,
there
yeah.
was some good stuff. And then someone else will re-bring it along, and it'll pop back up, and it'll be amazing again. But it will never,
Or do you think they take a different route and fully embrace the fact that Marvel has alternate universes and maybe do Miles Morales or
I mean, like-
or the Fox deal? We haven't even talked about that yet. Fox possibly being negotiating, and now X-Men and Fantastic Four could be brought into the fold. Deadpool will never be brought into the fold. I'm sorry, but that will never ever happen. That will
Dang it.
never ever ever ever.
Don't
happen.
you think that they should have Andrew Garfield in the Deadpool?
they should. They need to have.
Don't call him.
They don't call him Spider-Man.
Just hint that it's
Totally
Spider-Man.
needs to be
but
there.
never say anything about it.
Yeah,
Don't you think that would be
I would
amazing?
die.
I would love that so much.
Yeah.
Just because of how iconic of a duo they are, and because of copyright, they can't be together. Like they can't be in
Well,
the same
I mean,
movie.
Yeah.
Who would you rather have, Deadpool or Wolverine? And Deadpool and Wolverine, and Spider-Man and Deadpool. Who would you
Spider-Man and
rather?
Deadpool, they're together way better. They go together way
What?
better.
You say
Hugh
Spider-Man and
Jackman's
Deadpool?
done.
Yeah, Spider-Man and Deadpool go together better than Wolverine and Deadpool.
So do you cast Hugh Jackman if Disney gets X-Men?
You can't.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like recast Wolverine. I'm sorry.
That would
It's
be
bad that I
amazing,
literally
yeah.
associate Hugh Jackman with Wolverine. That's
Uh,
really
this-
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been doing it for a
was
while.
Logan was the way.
Yeah, that was,
exactly.
The guy that's like, you're gonna end
Yeah.
a character like that, or a
And
person playing. It's like, look to Logan.
Yeah.
This is your standard.
Hugh Jackman even said, like, I think he said he was talking to Jerry Seinfeld, and because they ended Seinfeld on a high note, and that's what Hugh Jackman wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he was thinking about like keep going, but he's like,
Yeah.
you sort of need to end it when you want to.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think they did a good job. They don't need to have Wolverine anymore. That was a good way of ending that, I think.
I mean, if they get it, they're gonna have to bring Wolverine
No,
back, but
if they get X-Men, then they're going to have someone for
it's
it.
gonna
Yeah.
happen.
But I mean, I know this wasn't anywhere near as big, but remember with Tomb Raider, they're recasting with a new Lara Croft, a much younger one than they originally did now.
Saw a trailer for that, by the way. It's
I'm-
Justice League. It's interesting.
I'm interested for it. I was one of the first games I ever played. I was a big fan of it. I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the newer ones. I mean, they're
That's
okay.
I like the newer
I
ones.
like
Never
them.
played the old ones.
The old ones are 100 times better, but they're
I think it's what I wanted.
yeah.
It's like I wanted
I will tell you
Uncharted-like
right now.
game, but a little different. That's what I got.
Yeah.
I will tell you right now, the movie, just from the trailer, there are so many scenes they picked out from the original
Oh, yeah.
new Tomb Raider and as well as the original. Like it's it's almost like they literally said, let's take the 2013 reboot and take the original 1997 and go.
That's what it feels
There you
like, and I'm hoping that becomes that and becomes it good. Because what I want to see is what. Now this is off topic a bit.
Sure.
But what I want to
That's a
see
big
from
thing.
this, what I want to see from this is I want to see them make that origin story of Tomb Raider, right, of the Lara Croft, and then bring her back in a couple years, have her be that older, tougher, Lara Croft that you know from the original games, and tell her story then. Because they never got around to that in the games. Because the ones that I played, she's awesome, like Lara Croft is just awesome, and in the new games she's good. The story's told well, but it's just not as good as the original, and the original is kind of hard to sit because it's really really difficult, and the new one's really really easy.
Who knows what's gonna happen?
Yeah, but I don't know. There's nothing.
Square Enix.
Yeah, who knows? But personally, I want to
think-
see it.
She's temporarily dead. I think Tomb Raider is a little dead.
Just the way the Rise of the Tomb Raider,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of. We'll see. We will see.
Yeah.
Video games are weird. Let's be honest.
Deus Ex is dead.
Deus Ex is very dead. He's very dead. Back to Marvel.
Back to Marvel.
Disney podcast.
Disney podcast,
Disney
not Tomb Raider podcast.
So they ended with Infinity Wars. That's what you and I think.
I would
Soft close.
Do you-
It's
do you-
not the end of the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
That's always. But I think it's the end of like what they've started.
Some
from
of
that
them.
It's
Yes.
kind of the end.
They
yeah.
need to
Which, I mean-
start wrapping it up here. Like,
Which
okay,
couldn't you with was it what was the last Captain America movie that
Civil War.
Yeah.
was it Civil War? Was that the one? I mean,
That one's more of an Avengers movie, I guess. Than a Captain.
yeah,
But it was,
that's
I
what
don't
I
know
felt like
if
too.
you
It's more an
Captain
Avengers
America.
movie,
Yeah.
but in that, isn't it kind of Captain America's kind of going away a little bit in that too?
They allude to that idea.
sorta,
But he's
kinda,
coming back
yeah.
in
I
Infinity
don't
War.
just to
They
like,
kind of.
from
They also
watching-
set up and hint strongly. It's like, hey, maybe Bucky can
Take over.
do this
Yeah,
next.
yeah.
Which would
I don't know,
That would
that's
be
just the
super
feel-
different.
That's just the feel I've gotten just watching that one, and then I just get the feel that they're kind of now
well, they've even done
this
that
new
with Iron Man,
which
a
is going to be
little
hard because you don't know if you get the rights for Spider-Man.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
it's
they've
like-
already started to make contingency plans. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so where do we go after Infinity
Doctor
War?
Strange.
I think Doctor Strange is
I think
fine.
what-
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Strange
just
is doing
the-
great.
bit. Getting it done is going to be the hard part, and they've got to do it at some point.
But the pressure that it's on Marvel right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're it's no longer like, oh, it's 5 years away. Like it's next
It's
May.
Yeah.
The longer they put off sort of ending these things, the harder it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, it's going to be out of their hands, and it's going to end, and they're going to have to work around it. I think
Yeah.
it's better if they are like, okay, we're still in control of this. With like in this part the way we want to.
Yeah,
Because
they
eventually,
need to
like
have a plan.
something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get like in a car wreck. Someone's just not gonna want to come back anymore. They're
Yeah.
gonna have a midlife crisis. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with the pressure of Infinity Wars, and this is just early prediction because we haven't seen the trailer yet, other than the leaked trailer. Do you think that Infinity War will live up to expectations, or do you think that, considering the entire Marvel roster, Because everything has been leading to these two films, Infinity Wars 1 and Infinity Wars 2.
Yeah.
Do you think this will live up to it, or do you think fans will ultimately walk away going, it was good, but...
I mean, I'm obviously usually completely against the popular, not against it because of the popular opinion, but I usually just have wildly different opinions. I mean, like with Mass Effect we were talking about earlier, I enjoyed it and some people just didn't. But, so I feel like my opinion of things is often...
Tyler's often wrong.
I'm wrong, apparently. So, like, I have a feeling I'm going to love it. But other people might be like, "Oh, that's so different than comics." I know what the comics say.
I know comics really have an issue anymore because there's so many
there's so many different things that are different. Yeah,
who are just film fans.
Like, I'm a film Marvel fan. That's what me and Michael.
Okay, so if you're just a film Marvel fan, I think you'll love it regardless. Right. If you're a hardcore comic fan, then you haven't liked the past several movies. But if you're someone who likes both, then I think you'll still like it.
I think I'm gonna really like it, and the biggest thing I'm excited for is to see Guardians of the Galaxy mixed in with it.
These are your favorites, yeah.
Yeah, because I love Chris Pratt.
Yeah,
of course.
I do. Man crush. He's actually one of my man crushes.
There you go.
But anyways,
he has more man crushes than I do.
And Guardians of the Galaxy, out of all of them, that's the one to me that doesn't feel like it's a part of the Marvel U to me.
Oh, it very much is.
Yeah, that one seems like it's its own
the
thing. That's why I'm super interested in seeing how they interact with the rest of them.
That's the one that Disney would really go nuts about. Like, they're fine with Universal having theme park rights for Spidey and all of them. They're fine. But the moment they start selling or put a Guardians of the Galaxy attraction in Universal, Disney will be on them like nobody's business and go, no sir, this is ours.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's and I think that's what I was telling you about. They have a much bigger connection with what's going to be happening. I mean, I don't think I was spoiling for you. I think you already knew it. Yeah, you did already know it. The people that they're with are Thanos' daughters. So
it's in the movie.
I know it's in the. I couldn't remember if I told you. I think I told you way before that was explained, but I don't know. Maybe I did. But yeah, so just they all connect really, really well. And there's some crazy stuff that happens with Nebula. Well, assuming they go with the comics, there's some crazy stuff that happens with Nebula. But
speaking of the comics, I'm a huge comic fan, but at the same time, I've gotten to the point of seeing these films. I say it's loosely based off the comics.
Oh, and that's a good thing. They don't need to make them if you make them the same as the comic, then there's no.
And they take moments from the comics, and then they put them into. For example, Spider-Man: Homecoming, the scene where he's trapped underneath the Rebel. That was I don't remember the name of the comic, but that's this series where he's taking on the Sinister Six for the first time, and he's trapped underneath this rubble that him and Dr. Octopus are falling. There's water coming up, and he's willing himself to get up to give this cure to Aunt May, basically, because Dr. Octopus has poisoned her, and. That scene specifically was in Homecoming, except obviously for
it was different. Yeah.
And that's when I love Marvel, when they go, oh, let's take this great scene from this comic,
reapply
it, and put it in our story. I love when Marvel does that, but I just think with the Infinity Wars, I'm gonna be the critic here, and it just maybe because I'm scared because no other film. Franchise in history has done this.
They've worked something up so long.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
gonna
another
be
thing I'm
interesting.
excited
I don't know
about.
if the stakes are gonna feel the way they want them to feel.
I guess for me, I'm gonna.
It's gonna be fun seeing everyone together and stuff. Am I gonna be this situation, or am I gonna be more like these people together? I don't know.
I don't know.
If the war itself is I might just be
I'm just going to enjoy seeing them all interact with each other.
Yeah.
I'd say the best way for them to go about that is to have them interact very early in the film.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, and it would make sense because even in the comics, they all do get together pretty early on. That this is the founding part of it. This guy's about to destroy the universe. This kind of sucks,
And then have at least 3 or 4 of the main ones go out of it.
Yeah.
Because then that puts the stakes back into Infinity Wars. And it takes a problem that I've had with the Marvel Cinematic Universe for a long time of they dance around killing off their cast. And people bring up Yondu all the time and I'm like, you know what, his death was impactful, but if you were to see Captain America die at the end of Civil War, that would have stayed with you. Like,
and if he died, and if Yondur died before that movie, like in the first movie, it's like you wouldn't have noticed. It was only because of what happened within that next film.
and that's why I say, like, it's still impactful. I just they dance around this, and like I remember we talked about Civil War last year. That I walked away from Civil War going, I was happy with it, but I was very mad because I went, you have opportunities to make it apparent that we are getting serious now. Like, the stakes are getting higher, and
well, I think the problem with it is all the heroes in Civil War are also supposed to be in Infinity Wars.
Yeah,
so
and
everyone had plot armor.
And I knock Disney for that. Because Disney are the ones who are like, we want to make money.
Yeah, and they could have done it in two different arcs. Admittedly, they could have done this in two different arcs and had, Civil War over here and Infinity Wars over here, and they could have killed off, the characters they wanted to in both. But then the comics work that way. But sure, maybe people, just the fans from the, they don't really get the whole, these are in two different universes, we'd like to split these up, and it's going to be a lot harder to follow considering if you can read a comic 100 times, you can fit a lot of information in a comic. You can't tell all that in a
movie. Like, I'm sorry, like, I understand that he's like Iron Man's BFF, but like, I had trouble understanding how he's still going. Like, sure, okay, he's still alive, barely. I'm like, man, that suit can take a hit, and that's impressive. And then he's up and walking again. Well, starting to by the end of
the movie. Yeah.
The movie. I'm
like, okay. Did you notice though? Did you see the awesome Easter egg to that in Doctor Strange? That he's hearing it over the radio about that guy being crushed. I thought that was the coolest thing ever.
But yeah, like, and again, that I just got so mad. I was like, why? And then again, like, I didn't think about it then, but it probably was a lot of like Disney and Marvel going, we can't do away with some of these characters because one, they're already signed on for like 4 more movies, and then 2, it would be a huge marketing issue if we have to now explain why Sebastian Stan as Bucky Barnes is now Captain America instead of Chris Evans as Captain America, because people like already associate his face with Captain. It's gonna have to change eventually,
and that's why something like Infinity Wars is the sort of thing that's like, this is big enough
to do it.
Potentially, it's like, I feel like this is why you do this thing. It's like, if you're gonna make some major changes, you're gonna do it at one of these like focal points.
But see, I guess that's what scares me, and this is where I'm the critic. Like, I'm just afraid that they're gonna get into this. Like, I know there will be repercussions. Like, I know that there's gonna be something. I just don't know. Like you said, if the stakes will be so high that they're...
This is the convergence point.
Right.
This is when, if something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen here. Yeah, this is the biggest point you get. But the thing is, the reason why Thanos is doing that should have been doing all this. Should have been explained a bit earlier, I think. Unless they are really saving it for the intro to this movie.
I see, like, I think that's a issue that people already... Well, at least I have. Like, I've talked to other people about Thanos, and they're like, oh, he's just gonna get the Infinity. He wants to control the world.
No, that's not his reasoning.
No, it's not. Yeah. I don't like. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, no, there's much more.
He wants someone who's purely a movie.
Yeah.
We know nothing.
You know nothing about
it. Other than there's a person named Thanos.
Yeah. He is.
He might want some shiny thing. It's not super clear.
Yeah.
It's like, he looks menacing. People are afraid of him. That's all we know. So, we don't know anything about him.
From the comics, he's supposed to be set up already really well, and he's supposed to be a Titan, right? There's a Titan. And he is trying... So there's 4 very powerful entities that control the universe. There's, death, entropy, infinity, and what's the 4th one?
Money.
Okay, sure, money. Okay, sure.
Money makes the world go round. It's one of the galaxies.
Yeah, so anyway, he falls in love with death. And he is trying to... He's enamored by death. And he wants to win her...
Same death that Deadpool has a crush on.
Yes, same death that Deadpool has a crush on.
I didn't watch Deadpool.
Oh.
It's fine. But anyway...
One day.
It's not in the movie, I don't think, is it?
No, she's not there yet.
So
but apparently she's coming in the sequel, so we'll see how that goes.
Cool, sweet. So anyways, Deadpool's also in love with death. Anyways, Thanos is in love with death, and he tries to win her over. So he gets this Infinity Gauntlet. The whole point of it is he's going to keep killing people and keep killing things in the universe until, she falls in love with him, because obviously she is death. So that is the whole reason why the universe is getting destroyed. Is he's trying to win her over, and she is not impressed. So, like, he's unmaking the universe in order to try to please her, and it's not working. So he just keeps unmaking the universe, and that's the whole reason why. And most of the comic of Infinity Wars is not between any of the heroes. It's between Thanos and Death and the few people he has with him trying to win over Death. So it's really crazy how that works out, and I that should have already, like, his love for Death should have already been explained, and the reason
I don't
why
think you can explain that
Yeah,
yet, because
they'll
this
have to
isn't a
have a different
television
plot.
series.
Like-
They have to sort
Yeah.
of maintain that.
Yeah.
And
So
and
you-
like that's
you'll have
something
to
I'm worried
rework it.
about because
Yeah.
Marvel
They
has
have to tell that so fast. Like, they're gonna have to get that in.
I don't
It's going to be a very, like Civil War, it's going to be a very different story.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not
It
gonna
has
could
to be a
be,
different
yeah.
story, and that's what worries me. Like, he's only here, as far as we know, for 2 films.
Yeah.
You'll have time to develop him, like,
Yeah, and you will for him, but, like,
but
the
you
fact
could
that...
still make him just a one-note
You
villain,
could.
and it's gonna. If they do that to Thanos after building up to for this long,
Yeah.
that's just gonna suck.
That would suck.
Like, I will be so disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, he really does need to kill several of the heroes.
Yeah, like it's got to change.
Yeah.
Like
he
whole-
becomes the god of the universe for a few minutes. I mean, he's got to do something. But, yeah.
I'll be very disappointed if
Yeah.
Spider-Man also isn't the one who beats him.
Yeah.
Spider-Man beats him in the comic. It's great. Kind of, but still, he has a
Spider-Man's-
huge part.
He has a...
He has.
dies... Captain America's the last one to die.
It's true.
He
But still.
kills Spider-Man way early off. Like, not way early off. He's one of the later ones to die, but... Like... Wolverine dies in the whole... Or dies. He doesn't even
Well, I mean,
die.
we know Spider-Man doesn't die.
Well, I mean, like...
Are we talking
well,
about cinematic universe or
Yeah.
like?
the comics, all of them die, and then all of them come back.
Yeah.
Immediately afterwards.
They might do that.
They could.
Well, they might even kill a bunch off
Dude,
like,
I'd be
at the end
so
of part
ticked off.
1.
I'd be so.
So they can be like, oh no, and then in part 2 be like, just kidding. Gotcha.
Well, it's... So, do you want me to tell you what happens in the comics or not? Like...
I
don't care. Okay. Well, so in the comics, what happens is Thanos literally just jokes around and plays with his food basically, and slowly kills each one of the heroes. You see Thor die in this way, Spider-Man die in this way, Captain America's the last one to go, and all of them, there's still Doctor Strange and Silver Surfer, way back, been watching all this, trying to formulate a battle plan for doing something with him. And while he's, like the whole deal was like while he's becoming so. Distracted while talking to them and taunting them and slowly killing off all the heroes, they're waiting for the opportune time for him to be just distracted enough, and they're going to zip through the speed of light and just zip off his gauntlet real fast when he's not paying attention.
Easy stuff.
Yeah, and well, of course, it almost works, but it doesn't work. And, he catches a Silver Surfer, he's like, oh, I got you now, ha ha ha, whatever, and he kills him. And then, of course, while he's sitting there gloating in his, victory of killing all of the heroes against him, Nebula, his daughter, the one that he's been forcing to suffer in a state of almost death this whole time, while he's just kind of relaxed now that he's done all this, she just slips it off his hand, puts it on hers, and wishes for everything to go back the way it was. And then boom, everyone comes back, and she is now and then she's now the god of everything they have to fight, and Thanos is fighting her, and everyone else is fighting her. So yeah, it's crazy how that ended up working. But I don't think they'll do it that way. They won't even plan to have Death in it, because Death is not. She hasn't even been explained yet who she is.
She's not even really been introduced in any of.
She's not been introduced in a single movie. She's no connection with any of it. So that makes me think that maybe that they're going to go a completely different route, and Thanos is going to have a completely different reason for wanting to unmake the world, or maybe he doesn't even want to unmake the world. Maybe he just wants to kill a couple people here. I mean, who knows?
Maybe he just likes nice jewelry.
Maybe he likes the nice fancy jewelry that lets you control things. Who knows?
It's just a fashion statement. He doesn't.
Yeah, he doesn't want to become a god. No, he just wants to have fancy jewelry on his hand.
He's like, this is the guy we need to give this to. It's the only place it's safe.
Exactly. And there's a big misunderstanding the whole way. Turns out everything's fine.
There's so much pressure on them.
Oh, there is. I don't envy them at all.
Oh. Good luck, Marvel.
Yeah, good luck, Marvel.
Well, that's all I have for this podcast. Unless you guys have anything else you want to talk about.
Not that I can think of.
I think so.
All right.
Information.
I say that was a good podcast. We'll see you all next time.
Hey.
All about the mouse.
All about the mouse.
First time hosting, so I forgot the title there for a second.